This is the segment I was born to work on. All right, so you might know that they had a guest at the White House
Mark Hamill has
this week, Mr. Mark Hamill. Now, this was particularly bitter, I think, for Gen Xers. I don't know if you're not an Xer, I don't know if you can understand. Like, we really grew up with Star Wars. Like, we really did. Star Wars was such a big deal. Like, I was exactly the right age. I was 7, 10, and 13 when the trilogy came out. Star Wars was such a big deal that you didn't have to go to school when a new Star Wars movie came out. Like, they didn't close the school, but unless your parents were real assholes, you got to go to the movies that day. Like, you got to go to the afternoon show and see Star Wars, man, because you waited 3 years. It was literally like a fucking holiday. And to see what Luke has degenerated into, and the way that that parallels what they did to him in the sequel trilogy, it's just tragic. So I put together a little video for y'all, capturing my feelings about this.
Mark Hamill has decided to join us on this wonderful Friday.
What is thy bidding, my master?
Here we go.
Okay, how many of you had Mark Hamill will lead the press briefing on your bingo card? Hands? Yeah, me either. And look, I just got to meet the president. He gave me these aviator glasses. Oh, yeah. I love the merch. Love it all. But listen, I just wanted to say I was honored to be asked to come to the White House to meet the president, the most legislatively successful president in my lifetime. And, you know, I don't have to go through the list of bipartisan infrastructure law, the PACT Act, the CHIPS Act, all of that, inflation, 15 million jobs. Look, it's all good. Good. I mean, I was really thrilled to meet the entire staff because, you know, it's not just one person. It's like a composite endeavor.
Give yourself to the dark side.
And all these people, my goodness, you know, I mean, I have no idea, I had no idea just what went into what is on his plate on a daily basis. So that's pretty much it. I'm open to questions, although no Star Wars questions, please.
It was said that you would destroy this and not join them.
But I want to say once again how grateful I am, and it just shows you that one person can be so influential and so positive in our lives. And again, thank you so much. And Peter Baker, I loved your book. You know, I called him Mr. President. He said, "You can call me Joe." And I said, "Can I call you Joby-Wan Kenobi?" He liked that. But listen, I'm not really here to dominate. I have to turn it back over to our wonderful press secretary, Corinne Jean-Pierre. So thank you all so much.
Boring conversation anyway.
Poor Luke. Poor Luke. You're muted.
Yeah. That's Mark Hamill at the White House late last week. Yeah. Well done there.
And,
you know, this is what I've said on the last segment. You know, to me, I have such contempt for people who just act totally like oblivious to what's going on. Like they won't take a position. I mean, Hamill in his remarks, I don't recall if you had it there. He mentions the Inflation Reduction Act as an accomplishment for Inflation Reduction Act. What are you kidding? Is that a joke? Inflation Reduction Act. Look what's going on in the world. This is a thing in Hollywood. Ryan Long did a bit about this. Just a total, you know, hear no evil, see no evil thing. You know, just out of sight, out of mind. Act like the world isn't on fire. Act like there aren't hundreds of children being killed each week. And just, run on these standard talking points, do your standard celebrity appearance. Like, it's just nauseating. It really is to see this indifference to the severity of the times.
I think he's jealous of George Takei's following. He's trying to compete with him for king of the shit libs.
That's true.
For the crown. It's sad because if you actually look at what Star Wars was supposed to be, we were gonna show this, but it would have gotten copyright claimed. George Lucas in an interview talked about how the rebels were the Viet Cong fighting against the evil empire. And to see Mark Hamill just completely misunderstand what the thing that his career was built on was about, or to just be completely indifferent to it, or to be so warped that he thinks we're the rebels fighting against an overwhelmingly hostile world, which may be close to the truth. It's just sad, and it does, in a way, parallel what a lot of people have lamented about what's been done with these once great franchises like Star Wars, like Indiana Jones, because you have all these people writing the sequels who hate the archetype that Luke Skywalker represents. So what do they do with him? They make him a broken old man. They hate the archetype Indiana Jones represents. So what do? They make him a broken old man. And it's unfortunate to see life imitating art that way, because Mark Hamill is that broken old man who is but a pale shadow of what he once represented for real.
Yeah, no, it's just the vacuousness of it is just what's incredible to me. And you look at award season in Hollywood, no mention of anything that's going on except the one filmmaker, the Jewish filmmaker, who said he doesn't want to see his religion hijacked for the purposes of justifying an occupation that has harmed so many people, and he gets shouted down for that. I mean, it's a very depressing thing to see, just the arts community more broadly. But Hollywood had some things to say during the second George Bush term. The Syriana is a great movie.
Right.
And
Yep.
it really
Yep.
takes very seriously not just not just like the blue pill show of red team versus blue team, but really digging underneath the forces that really drive these wars. Good Night and Good Luck was a good movie. Even a movie like Brokeback Mountain was edgy at the time, because a few months before that came out, gay marriage had been shot down. That's what swung the race to George Bush, the year prior to that movie coming out. So, I feel like that second Bush term, like pre-Obama, was that small sliver of a window where you saw meaningful movies come out of Hollywood. Yet, There Will Be Blood, Syriana, Good Night and Good Luck. And now it's just this, and it just feels so totally irrelevant. The lack of substance in what they have to say and why. You're up here talking about the Inflation Reduction Act? Really? Really? You got two wars going on. You got a genocide going on. You're up here talking about a corporate handout bill that was passed with overwhelming Republican support a year and a half ago, or whatever the fuck it was. I mean, come on.
Well, and also, I think that for Hollywood and for actors, I mean, they were always to the left of where the country was, using that term very broadly, culturally, to the left of where the country was. But now that they've become the censors and the repressive element in society, they lost a lot of the past that people used to give them for being more fun than the conservatives.
Right.
They're not more fun anymore.
They're not more fun anymore. That's the other
right.
thing, yeah.
So there's nothing to make people look the other way when they feel like they disapprove of their lifestyle. And this is why every week you have another article coming out about how Hollywood is on fire. Nobody's working. People are having to quit the industry. Nothing's being made. Now look, that is partly, there was a really good article in, might have been The Atlantic. I could be wrong about that, though. We were going to do a segment on it about how part of the reason that Hollywood has been strip mined is venture capital came in and took over the studios and did what they do. They stripped it for parts. They reduced costs. They don't want to take any chances on something like The Godfather. So you're going to get Star Wars 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and there's no love there for the material. So they're hiring a bunch of just graduated wokesters who hate these characters. And I saw somebody saying this. It might have been Gary on Nerdrotic. It's much easier to destroy something than to create. All they're doing is inheriting these very beloved properties that people created from whole cloth in the past and just destroying their value, because nobody at this point, nobody wants to watch Star Wars. Nobody wants to watch Marvel anymore. They're destroying Doctor Who, which I was never a fan of, but what they're doing with it is just absolutely fucking absurd. And it would be one thing if what you're talking about is a changing marketplace and changing tastes, but that whole motivation of Hollywood seems to have been flipped upside down, where now the motivation is to make the audience like it, even though all indications are that they don't. Who wants to see a broken down Luke Skywalker? Who wanted to see that? Did you really need to see that? Wouldn't you rather have seen a Luke running a Jedi Academy, as I think everyone kind of expected if they ever continued Star Wars, that he'd, be this Jedi master? Wouldn't you? Why would you have Han running around with Chewbacca as like a rogue and a scoundrel? And they never even explained what happened with him and Leia. Like, it was so clearly done by people who hated the original trilogy. Like, nobody who loved it would have treated these characters with such disrespect. But Mark Hamill agreed to take part in that. Now, there are accounts that he was upset when he read the script. But, I mean, what? He's working? How much they pay him to do the voice of the Joker on Batman, right? So,
Oh, yeah. Well, I did a meme of him at the podium when the Jedi helps the Empire Strike Back. That was my meme. I did pretty well.
Please clap.